Hey guys, this is Sebastian. I just met Jörg outside of the room, and we thought, yeah, why not let's have a discussion about ours because he's super excited about what we're doing, and just film it up and let's see what happens here.
Yeah. And to be honest and full disclosure, not only I am excited about what you do, we are all excited. That's why we invested into you.
Thanks.
Yeah. So I know it, but probably you there don't. What are you actually doing?
Within a couple of sentences, we have developed a system that helps fashion brands to allocate their merchandise always at the right place at the right time. So our solution can decide for the brand where they should deliver their merchandise in a specific quantity, specific color, specific style.
Okay, and your customers are brands and companies who have multiple outlets, I guess.
No, actually, our customers are brands because they're selling to everyone.
Okay.
So they're selling to online shops, they're selling through their wholesale structure to other retailers. They have their own shops, they have their own outlets. Actually, our solution fits them all. So we decide which point of sale should really have the merchandise. And it doesn't really matter if it's an online shop or is it the outlet shop. Who can sell it the best, that will be sent.
Cool. And when the companies, like, how does it work? How do you know who needs to get the merchandise?
Yeah, this is actually a tricky question.
Yeah, because that's why we invested.
Yeah. Basically, it's a lot of statistical and mathematics approach. But what we also do is we put external factors. We call them trigger factors for a specific brand. So for sure, a sports event will actually trigger the sales for sports brands, maybe running shoes or whatever. But we also include these external factors into our algorithms to calculate or predict where the merchandise should be.
And with your clients, who are the ones within the organization you need to work with and talk to? So I guess it's like cross-department what you do.
It is. So I would say there are 4 departments. Really, for sure, it's C-level area because it's super critical to their company and what at the end of the year will be their profit. So stocks will have a critical impact. Then for sure sales department, IT department for integration, which is really easy. We only need 80 data points. And the merchandise management and planning department, because we really help them to improve their daily work.
And so is this something where you replace tools they already have, or are you adding on top of the systems your customers use already?
Really good question. If you would say that Microsoft Excel is a tool to do so, then yes, we're replacing a system, because most of our customers really only use basic Excel spreadsheets that created themselves to handle this particular problem. And then I would say that there are the 2 systems we actually more enhance instead of replace. ERP systems, they do one-to-one replenishment, so the retailer sells one and the brand sells one to the retailer again. Then we have more advanced other analytics tools for Microsoft Dynamics or SAP. They have predictive analytics tools to do so, but they use the same algorithms for schools as for fashion, and you might think that cannot really work out. And the third one is self-developments of the brands. So some of them already started and saw there's such a big problem. We have no solution in the market, so we have to do something and develop something by themselves. But as you might expect, like they're working in their own environment. They only have their own data and they only have their own capacity. What we can do is give them an outside perspective and even state-of-the-art forecasting model.
And how do you how much do the internal processes of your customers need to change? Like, can you increase the frequency, how they ship their merchandise to the outlets, or you say no, we can predict this on the longer term, or is it like a combination of both to have like the maximum effect of
It is.
using
It is.
you, working with you?
So the workflow we change is not really big. That means right now you have a merchandise planning department, they have the Excel spreadsheets and thousands of other lists, so they go through this process every day. What we do is just give them an actionable insight or proposal what to do with one click. They can approve or reject. And our solution is actually made by algorithms that calculate the future demand within a longer term. But then we set on top some business rules. For instance, the easiest way to explain is if we start with 10 pieces on the shop floor and the algorithm would predict there must be 60 pieces, for sure you cannot deliver 60 pieces to the shop. The shop has no capacity for it. So we have some business rules on top that allow us to adjust our forecast every day and make it even more precise.
And how granular does your forecast work? Can you also predict sizing needs or colors, or how deep do you go?
We really go into the granularist area, means SKU. So we know exactly which style, which color, which size, and how many pieces per size they will need from this particular item.
Cool, that's deep. And how much is the effort your customers have to undergo in order to deploy your solution? So is it they make a decision that they want to do it, and then it takes them a year to implement, and they give you hundreds of thousands or millions of euros, and then they have a period of 2 years to figure out if it actually works, or is this quicker?
It is super quick, we would say. So they decide they want to work with us, and then we have an IT workshop where we decide how to transfer the data at the most efficient way for them and for us. And
that's humans. Then humans are talking to humans, talking about this is how we do it, and then you say, okay, this is how you could do it.
Right, and then you figure out how you really do it.
Yeah.
But everything within the workshop and afterwards should be done within 30 days. And for us, it was really crucial to develop a system, even if we're in the area of big data and predictive analytics and so on, that we have a solution that impacts the business from day one. So we start by getting the sales and inventory data of the retailer, and within a couple of days, our algorithms already work. For sure, they improve over time. So we learn and learn and learn.
So you learn also on a per customer level.
Correct.
If a user uses your solution.
Correct.
And when this is a tough question now.
Okay.
I need to ask some tough questions. So if a customer deploys your solution, and when they think about you being a super young company, only around for some months, obviously with the goal of being around forever, being very successful, they might ask themselves, what is the risk I go into by having such a young company interfere in one of my most crucial business fields, or areas of business? What would you reply if a customer would ask you, what's the danger of working with you?
I would say there are no dangers at all, but we thought about this topic and we tackle them with a 3-steps approach. Meaning, if we start to work with a company, and for sure we have full access to their inventory, we have full access to all of the sales data of the retailer, and we just provide them with allocation proposals. So really a human still of the company, employee has to decide what should be done.
Okay, so it's more like a recommendation and not automatisms in the beginning.
And this is just for trust building.
Yeah.
The second step would then be that we provide every allocation proposal with a score that's called confidence score. How secure are we with our forecasting and the total transaction? And for instance, in the second step, then you can pull a slider down to 90% and say, okay, let's say every proposal that has a confidence score above 90% will be automated. But everything below should be handled by an employee. So the third step would be then fully automation.
Cool. Who are your competitors? Because you can't be alone. Such an interesting market. Someone has to be in there.
There are, as I said, for sure ERP systems trying to implement such systems. Definitely, yes. But for now, as what we have seen, even SAP and Microsoft Dynamics or Microsoft itself has not the capacity to go into every vertical that deep to build specific algorithms and replenishments for this vertical. So there are also SaaS solutions trying to tackle the same problem. What we have found out is that replenishment, or actually we know that replenishment only gets interesting when something is not anymore in stock.
Mm-hmm.
So what should you do? What happens in fashion is that you only have a certain period of time to sell something, and once it's not on stock anymore, means it was a bestseller, you have a free space on the retailer area where there should be something they can sell. So lots of potential they lose because the basic solutions will offer no substitute for this free space. What our solution does is we calculate potential sales for every piece of the collection a brand has on stock, even if the retailer doesn't have it before on the stock. And we just deliver what has the most sales potential then. So retailing is selling, and we always deliver the style with the most sales potential.
And you do this in which regions? Like, is this only working in Germany, or like what is your approach there?
For sure, for external factors to be included into that, we need to gather a little bit more data. So we start in Germany, Austria, Switzerland, but already we started to crawl enough data for also other countries within Europe and within the whole world, actually, to be prepared to enter new markets.
Cool. Good. What could an investor ask for more?
Yeah.
Makes total sense. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Jörg, for
tomorrow more questions.
Yes, right. Thanks.
Thanks for listening, watching, and commenting.
Right.